Budapest, Hungary, a city that is getting more and more popular for digital nomads. But why is it so special, and could this be your next destination? In this video, I will walk you through everything that you need to know before coming to Budapest as a digital nomad, where to stay, fun things to do, but also just some tips and tricks to make your stay here not only easier, but of course also a lot more fun. First things first, let's talk about the city itself. So, Budapest is the capital city of Hungary, located here in Europe. The city itself counts around 1.7 million people, making it not only a big city, but also very lively. You will find that it's actually split up in two parts. You will have the Buda side that is filled with beautiful parks, a hilly landscape, but also beautiful castles. And split by the river, you will find on the other side the Pest area. This is also a lovely area filled with a lot of restaurants, cafes, but also the place where I'm personally staying and where you will also find a lot of other apartments, Airbnbs or houses. When I'm looking at my personal experience, I've been staying here for a month right now, is that Budapest overall is just very lively. There are a lot of fun things to do, like there's an endless list of activities, and we will get to that later on in this video as I'm going to give you a few of my own tips. I would definitely say when looking at digital nomad locations, mostly in Europe in this case, that Budapest never was on top of mind. I'm not sure why, maybe because I'm not as familiar with it or that I didn't knew a lot about it, but I definitely think that it should be high on your list because the city really offers everything that you could need, in my opinion. So you are planning to go to Budapest, but where do you want to stay? Well, personally, I'm staying in District 6. We have this lovely apartment. We're so happy with it. I think it's honestly one of the best apartments that we stayed at so far. Also for a very reasonable price when I compare it to other cities that we stayed at or our previous experiences. So District 6 is located close to all the hotspots that you could want. It's filled also with restaurants, cafes. You will even find an indoor shopping mall called West End, and overall it's just very nice, mostly due to the location. So personally I would advise to stay in District 6, but if you're looking at any other districts, you could also definitely check out District 5. In both places you will find that there are a lot of options. We are personally renting through Airbnb. I'm not aware of a different way of renting here, but I need to say that there are a lot of options. If you're able, I would just check out Airbnb. As I said, the prices are pretty reasonable, definitely when you're looking at other places in Europe. And of course, if you're curious to see a full apartment tour, there's already a video online on my channel. I will link it for you in the description box down below. And I will give you a full tour of the apartment and tell you more about it in detail. But just to round it up for where to stay, highly suggest District 6. It's absolutely amazing. As said, finding a place on Airbnb can be done for a reasonable price, but what about the monthly cost of living as a digital nomad in Budapest? Well, that's actually very reasonable as well. I'm very happy with our spending habits here in the city. There's a lot of free things to do as far as activities goes. We're happy with the price that we're paying for our apartment. That is around $1,100 per month, which is a very fair price in my opinion. When looking at food and groceries, I pay around, I think, $200 per month for my groceries. So overall, I think that Budapest is a great option if you want to stay in Europe specifically, but for a very reasonable monthly cost of living. I also broke down all of my monthly costs in full detail, sharing all of my complete expenses of the last month also on my YouTube channel, also in a different video where I just go more in depth of all the costs and the specifications and everything. So if you're also more curious about that, I will leave the link to that video as well. But overall, for the monthly cost of living, I spent around $1,600 per month. And I need to say that's actually way less than I've expected beforehand. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. Budapest is a city that's growing more and more popular with other digital nomads. So you will definitely find some co-working spaces in the city like Impact Hub, which is a great recommendation if you're looking for a cool an easy co-working spot. Personally, I haven't visited yet, but I have been working at a few different cafes. Madal is my absolute favorite. You have a few different, I think 4 locations throughout the city, so you will always find one near you. But there are a lot of options as far as cafe goes if you want to work outside of your room or apartment. I've also not been experiencing any problems with Wi-Fi or my SIM card. We do have Wi-Fi at the apartment, which has been absolutely amazing actually, but we also have a SIM card with unlimited internet. I think it's around $20, a bit more, to have a limited internet for a month if you already have the SIM card. Otherwise you can count on around $30 to $35. And I've chosen for T-Mobile as it was a SIM card provider that I was already familiar with from back in the Netherlands. Then my last tip as far as co-working or working as a digital nomad goes, definitely go and check out one of the libraries you will find scattered across the city. There is one that has been my absolute favorite. I've actually visited when I was also filming a day in my life vlog, if you're curious, but the library was stunning. It was such a nice and unique experience to work from a place that was so inspiring, but also relaxing, and it just gave up the perfect vibe to work on work or new ideas or just settle in for some focus work. So if you're interested in that, I would highly suggest it. I think it was work-wise one of the most fun places I've worked at my whole life. Just keep in mind that you do need to buy a ticket. I would say it's around $5. You can stay there as long as you want. And as I said, it's just a very inspiring atmosphere and location, so I would highly suggest to check it out. Now that we talked a bit about the logistics of staying here, and I'm also going to give a few extra tips at the end of this video, but for now it's time to talk about the fun side of staying in Budapest, besides everything that we already talked about, that it also makes a lot of fun. And of course, starting off with fun activities and things to do. Kicking off with something very simple and easy to do and achieve, and it is just walking around the city, because Budapest is such a walkable city. You will find a lot of parks. There's one big park that you need to visit either way, because there's also a big castle and a few different museums and a hot air balloon. Like, I mean, an endless list, as I already mentioned. But yeah, just plan some time in your day or in your week to go out and just walk around and explore the city. By foot, you will notice that you will come across so many hidden gems or just amazing finds just walking around and exploring. Then of course there are also some popular must things to do when visiting Budapest. For example, going to the thermal baths. It is a great experience, but there's one thing to keep in mind, because you do have a few thermal baths. Of course, there's the one most popular option, and you will find that it's actually very busy, which is logical because it's like a tourist thing and hotspot to do. But just consider when you're visiting, is it during a busy time, like during the day? Or is it when it's in the weekend? You will also find that there will be more people. And yes, even when it's busy, you can still have a nice experience. But I think for the thermal baths that you would prefer when it's a bit less busy. Of course, you will also find a lot of other thermal baths. I mean, Hungary is a country with one of the most thermal baths of the whole world. So you will also find a lot of options besides like the most popular ones. So if you're up to go on a little adventure, then definitely also check out the less popular thermal baths as well. Another fun things to do is visit one of the ruin bars. It's like in these ruin buildings, you'll find cute bars inside of the buildings. They're just like a bit hidden away, so it is a very nice experience. Also with this, you do have a few very popular ones, but just walking around, definitely in like the going out areas, you will find a lot of ruin bar options with cocktails, drinks, fun music, fun people. So it's also the perfect way to connect with others. But going to a ruin bar is definitely a must experience. Although we already talked about like walking around the city, there's one specific place that I need to highlight, and that is Margaret Island. An island located on the river between the Buda area and the Pest area. And it's a place with a lot of history, so for that it's already interesting to go. But besides that, it's also absolutely stunning to visit. Of course, it's filled with nature and greenery, and it's a perfect place to go for a picnic or just a nice walk when the weather is great, or visit a Japanese garden. You will also find a few different monuments that are also worth checking out. So definitely also visit Margaret Island. And as we're already talking about going outside, I would highly suggest to watch a nice and relaxing sunset near the river. Maybe bring a drink with you or a book. You will actually find a lot of people there during the evening when the sun is setting and everyone is just chilling and hanging out with others or by themselves and just relaxing. And just as with the library, it overall has just a very nice vibe to it. Then there are also some other activities that I want to highlight but don't want to go in depth with, and that is, for example, the Budapest Zoo that is located in a big park. You have a lot of monuments, you have a lot of historical buildings, of course, that you want to visit, like the Parliament building or the castle. But you also can visit a shooting range if that's up to you and you want to do a bit of an adrenaline activity. But yeah, overall Budapest is just filled with fun activities, and not to forget all of the great museums as well. The last thing that I want to highlight is, of course, going on a boat or like a cruise over the river. It will give you a new view of the whole city. We actually did it a few days ago. We did one specifically which also included drink. I think it's like called the Prosecco boat tour, but you'll find a lot of options on websites like Get Your Guides. I'll leave the link to the specific one that we did in my description down below if you're curious for that. But yeah, it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun. There was music, there were drinks flowing, but overall the most fun thing is that you just see the city from a new point of view. But I would say like just add the boat tour to your already probably very long list of things to do in Budapest. So what about those tips and tricks that I already talked about earlier in this video when you're staying here as a digital nomad? Well, first of all, bring comfy shoes. You probably already have them in your suitcase, but comfy shoes is a must-have for Budapest, mostly because you're walking so much. So bring comfy shoes. It will definitely save you a lot of hassle. Then over to the currency of Hungary. Although it's located in Europe, it's not using the euro. So that means that you will need the Hungarian forint. Just know that you can easily use your card like almost everywhere, but of course it's never a bad idea to have a bit of cash on you. You will find ATMs scattered like all over the city, so you will definitely have no problem with either getting cash or exchanging at one of the exchange offices as well. Getting around in Budapest itself is rather easy with one of the best public transport systems in the whole of Europe. Also one of the oldest systems actually, which is also very interesting. If you want to use Budapest public transportation, then definitely download the Budapest Go app. On this app you can buy tickets, but you can also buy the monthly pass. That's around $30. The monthly pass will give you access to the public transport, as I said, for a whole month, either if it's with the bus, metro, tram system, literally anything. So that is also a great option if you're someone who's staying here for a month or maybe even 2 months. Besides public transport, you will also definitely find other ways of getting around. Of course, you can use taxis. I would always advise to use an app like Uber or Bolt even, but I would not recommend to hail a taxi from the street. I would always use one of those two apps. If you're considering visiting the city, then definitely check out when you're coming, also mostly because of the seasons. Keep in mind that in wintertime it can get pretty cold over here. Just know when you want to visit. To be honest, Budapest really surprised me as a city. As I said, it was not on top of mind of visiting. It just came on our path, on our way, and I think it says a lot that we already extended our stay after just 3 days here in Budapest. I mean, we were just an easy 3 days here in the city, and at that moment we were already, me and my partner, talking about, okay, maybe we need to extend, maybe we want to stay longer. And I think that says so much about the city and about how much I actually like it. And we have 1 month left and we're already talking about, okay, when can we come back? Maybe just for vacation or a quick city trip, or we just know for sure that we will be coming back in Budapest, it's overall just a lot of fun when you have such a positive experience with a city like this, and you just know that it's going to be ingrained in my memories for so long because we're actually loving it so much. So besides all the topics that we already talked about, just remember this. If there's one thing to remember, it's like remember my happiness and my overall just the good vibes and feelings that Budapest is giving me, because I'm actually pretty sure that it will also give you the same vibe and the same feelings when you're visiting. And with that being said, I want to thank you for watching. I hope this video gave you a bit of insight in the digital nomad lifestyle here in Budapest, some tips and tricks, things you needed to know. Of course, feel free to leave any questions down below as well. I will be happy to answer, or if you want to see anything specific from Budapest as well, as I'm actually here for a month longer, I would be happy to integrate it in the uploading schedule as well. You do need to be subscribed to be notified, of course, of those videos. So if you're not subscribed yet, please, that would be very welcome. Thank you. And yeah, just once again, thank you for watching. I hope to see you at the next video. Bye.